Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for coming. I'm so glad to be here. Today, I'm going to tell you all about universal design and aging in place and methods that you can apply to your home so that you are thriving at home. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my business. So my name is Allison Forrester. I'm the owner of Counterpane Interiors, which I established in 2011. I work with all kinds of clients, but have come to specialize in modifying homes for people who want to age in place. I am a very active member of our local New England chapters of the International Furniture and Design Association, of which I am a board member, and also the American Society of Interior Designers. And I keep up with these industry organizations because they're a great outlet for learning. And I believe that learning is a lifelong journey, which is why I'm excited to have you here today so I can educate you all about universal design and aging in place. People often ask me how I came to specialize in this area, and I always say that there comes a time in nearly every interior designer's life when they want to find a niche that makes their heart sing. And some time ago, I began searching for my why. And I knew that I didn't want to create status symbols that help people to keep up with the Joneses. And I knew I loved antiques. It's been a lifelong love for me, but making a niche around that still felt too broad. And then I got a call from an old friend, and she had just bought her first home with her husband, and she wanted my help to modify it for her wheelchair use. And I worked with her and her husband, and they have a young daughter, to come up with a whole house plan that could be executed over time. And working on a project like that allowed me to experience firsthand giving someone such an immediate impact of joy in their life for their family, and it definitely made my heart sing. And I realized that's the kind of work I was looking for, and I wanted to help people preserve their thriving lifestyle in a beautiful home that's uniquely theirs. So I pivoted my website content and refocused all my marketing efforts and completed the courses to become a certified aging in place professional through the NKBA. And now I just want to teach as many people as I can about universal design and aging in place so that they know that professionals like me exist and that thriving at home, in their home, is an important option for them to consider. So today's objectives, we're going to be focusing on a number of topics such as the difference between universal design and aging in place, the difference between visitable and accessible homes, and then I'll dive into the meat and potatoes of kitchen modifications, bath modifications, and then we'll conclude with a little bit of QA after we touch on some smart home technologies. So, why are you here? Each of these descriptions fit a person who may be considering a home modification for universal design and aging in place. First of all, you all here on some level have recognized the need for planning for the future. And maybe you've launched your kids off into their own lives and you're an empty nester, or you're about to retire, or you're newly retired, or you're an adult child that's here with a parent in mind, or you've heard you're the head of a multi-generational household where you have your children and your parents under one roof, whether or not you have an in-law suite. Or perhaps you're just ready to downsize from your large family home into something more manageable. So what is universal design? It's a It refers to a broad spectrum of ideas that are meant to produce buildings and environments that are inherently accessible to people of all ages and abilities. The concept's only about 20 or 30 years old, and while it's gaining popularity in recent years, there's still a lot of work to do. It's loosely defined by these 7 principles, which you can read on your handouts. And they are meant to be applied to products, buildings, spaces, and public environments. Now, aging in place. Aging is different for everyone, and it can change people's cognitive and physical strength, their balance, their sight, their hearing, and their maneuvering capabilities. And it's a more distilled version of universal design, and as in universally designed spaces, spaces designed through an aging in place lens become delightfully convenient for all people who encounter or use the space. So most importantly, a good aging in place solution should not scream old or disabled, okay? It's more officially defined as the ability to live in one's own home and community safely, independently, and comfortably, regardless of age or ability level. Now, most of you have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A successful aging in place scenario addresses all parts of the pyramid, and so often the aging narrative only addresses level 1 or 2, which is level 1, food, water, shelter, level 2, safety, security, health, and well-being. Level 3 covers, level 3 and 4 are oftentimes ignored. Level 3 is maintaining social needs, level 4 is ambitions and esteem. And when levels 1 through 4 are addressed, the way is paved for level 5, self-actualization. And like I said, these are all the kinds of things you want to be thinking about when you're creating your aging in place environment in your own home. So aging in place has many benefits. It can help you preserve your treasured lifestyle, which keeps your quality of life high. It fosters a safe, comfortable, and convenient environment that reduces hospital stays because your home will be adaptable to your recovery needs. And the benefits and measures taken to prevent falls and accidents keep the user's medical costs low. So it's kind of a system that builds upon itself. Okay, so we got some stats and economic benefits. We've heard all about the enormity of the baby boomer generation. Our population of 65 plus persons is expected to double by 2030. And aging in place ready homes currently account for less than 1% of the current housing stock. So chances are, if you want an age in place ready home, you're going to have to work with an age in place professional to help create it. 87% of US residents age 65 plus wish to stay at home as they age. That's a conservative figure from the CDC. If you look at these numbers here I have at the screen, how can you not afford to age in place? So a one-time renovation cost can run you anywhere from $70,000 to $150,000 depending on the scope of the job, but it's a one-time fee. If you look at the average rental rate in an independent living community, like an after 55 community, you're looking at $2,700 per month on average, which extrapolates to $324,000 over the course of 10 years. Okay? Assisted living or residential care facility will cost you an average of $3,500 per month, which comes to $420,000 over 10 years. Continuing care communities of varying quality usually charge an entrance fee of anywhere from $20,000 to $500,000, in addition to a monthly charge of anywhere from $500 to $3,000 per month. And finally, a nursing home averages a cost of $240 a day, which comes to $7,200 a month and $870,000 over 10 years. So again, how can you not afford to age in place? So we'll go over visitable versus accessible. Visitable is one of those newer terms that Microsoft Word doesn't quite know yet. It's a great option for anyone who's ever had visiting friends or family with assistive devices like walkers or wheelchairs or even a baby stroller. The parameters of a visitable home include at least one zero-step entrance, doors with at least 32 inches of passable width that is clear of the hinges, or else you're going to be scraping your knuckles, and at least one bathroom that's large enough to accommodate a wheelchair. An accessible home is somewhere where a wheelchair or walker user may live. And it has all of the features of visibility, plus you have a usable shower in that wheelchair accessible bathroom that we just mentioned. You have one bedroom on the ground floor or a lift to a bedroom on a higher level, like a Stairmaster or a residential elevator. And also you need to have an accessible kitchen because everybody's got to eat. And it's best if you can help to make that happen on your own. So I want to make a note that not every aging in place home needs to be wheelchair ready out of the gate, but it should be adaptable should the need for a wheelchair present itself in the future. Adaptability is a key feature of a good aging in place solution, because nobody knows what the future holds. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of kitchen and baths, I want to tell you about a bit of bonus content that I have that I'll be sharing with you over email in a few days if you left me your email address when you came in. This is also downloadable from my website, which is counterpaininteriors.com. And it's a guide that goes, it's a colorful 20-page guide that goes room by room to show you quick and easy tips and measures that you can do to kickstart your Thriving at Home journey. It's called Thrive at Home, Quick and Easy Home Modifications for Staying in Place. I have a single copy here that anybody can page through after we're done. And it's a tried and true resource that's for helping you in your current home. And I've also been told it's a great resource for taking with you if you're shopping for a new home. Okay, for a new home to downsize into. So into kitchens, modifications to consider for the kitchen. The kitchen's main functions, we all know, are food preparation, cooking, serving, cleaning, and storing. Each of these tasks carries its own risks for accidents in the kitchen. The best aging in place kitchens have ample space to maneuver with assistive devices, like a walker or wheelchair. They minimize the amount of trips required to perform these common tasks like cooking, serving, prepping, cleaning, and storing. For example, your fridge isn't out on the back porch behind the kitchen. It's right front and center in your kitchen. We see that a lot in old houses. A minimized risk of falling in the kitchen is achieved by eliminating throw rugs and introducing some slip-resistant flooring, such as cork, linoleum, luxury vinyl, whether it's a sheet product or in tiles, wood, laminate, or bamboo. So some details in the kitchen. Refrigerators. The configuration of your refrigerator matters. French doors, like you see in the picture up here, freezer on bottom, or side-by-side models are the easiest to use from a universal design standpoint. We use our fridge more often than our freezers, so it makes a lot of sense to get that fridge up off the floor. Next, we have considerations for cabinet guts. Base cabinets with pullouts or big, deep drawers are help make everything more accessible for everyone, regardless of ability. We can also put upper cabinets. Upper cabinets can be outfitted with counterbalance pull-downs that can be installed inside the existing cabinet, or you can put cabinets on electric tracks that can move up and down the wall electronically by the push of a button, which is pretty cool looking. For your cabinet doors, you're going to want to consider handles or cup pulls because they're easier to use than knobs, because knobs require a specific amount of grip to operate. And anyone that might be working with a little bit of arthritis in their fingers as they're aging will know this firsthand. For dishwashers, you're going to want them within 30 inches of your sink. It's always good to place them on the side of your dominant hand. And a tip for dish storage is to keep your dish storage even beyond the dishwasher, so the person unloading the dishwasher doesn't have to shimmy by someone who might be using the sink at that time with an armful of breakable dishes. If you have a large kitchen, a secondary sink for food preparation may be useful. That's where a prep zone is removed from a primary sink. Sinks, these prep sinks are also extra useful when they're placed just down the counter from a stovetop, because this allows you to slide a heavy hot pot of water to the sink without having to lift and carry to a different counter run. Roll-out cabinets, which you can see someone reaching for a roll-out cabinet in one of my pictures here, or cabinet carts, are especially helpful in a wheelchair-friendly kitchen where users can roll under sinks and countertops when that cabinet is rolled out of place. A wheeled cabinet can also be stowed under the sink or stove when not in use, like you see in the photo, and also make transporting items between appliances easier and more convenient. They're great to have beside you when you're cooking on a stovetop, for example. Swing door ovens and with pull-out surfaces below them help manage the hot oven items safely and eliminate the occurrence of burns from reaching over a hot oven door, which most of us are used to having to do with our conventional kitchens. And kitchen islands, of course, kitchen islands are very popular. They're here to stay. And an island with seating usually calls for counter height bar stools, but in an effective island in an age-in-place kitchen, you're going to want seating at regular chair height so that people in a wheelchair can still use that island, or people that maybe don't have as much stability as they once had can securely sit while they're using that space for food prep. Seated food prep is always a great thing to have in your kitchen, no matter what size. Lighting in a kitchen is just as important as a kitchen sink. There's three main types of lighting you want to consider for a kitchen: ambient, accent, and task. Ambient lighting is the general ceiling lighting that you would have in your kitchen, or it could be a series of recessed lighting. Task lighting is what you would see under cabinets shining onto a countertop, or directed at cabinets, or if you're lucky, like my small picture in the corner, inside your cabinets and drawers. And then finally, accent lighting. It accounts for lower level lighting that you might use to set a mood or just leave on overnight so that you don't stub your toes when you're getting that midnight snack. These great accent lighting is toe kick lighting and cabinet up lighting as well. So more neat considerations for a kitchen, especially if a wheelchair is part of the equation, are upper cabinets on a track, like I mentioned before. Also, taller toe kicks are useful for people in wheelchairs so that their footrests can nestle underneath the toe kick without sacrificing much lower cabinet storage space. You can see a tall toe kick right here. Under sink cabinets with entertainment hinges allow the look of a cabinet when closed, and when opened, the doors can be retracted into the cabinet so the wheelchair can get under that sink so that it's more easily usable for someone that is seated in a wheelchair. And just like with the wall ovens I mentioned before, pull-out surfaces below microwaves are also useful, as well as microwaves that open off to the side instead of, you're seeing newer models these days with microwaves that open, that are hinged from the bottom like a regular oven would be. I also want to say another note about microwaves. They're always best at or below counter height and not very safe above your cooktop or range. So we have a little bit of an exercise here. I have a make-do kitchen versus a thriving kitchen. On the left is our make-do, the right is our thriving. I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about maybe what isn't so great about the make-do and what maybe is so great about the thriving kitchen. So here's some bigger pictures of the make-do. Can anyone point out anything that might be less than desirable from a thriving home standpoint?
Microwave over oven, stovetop.
Yes.
Not a lot of room around the oven when the door's open.
Correct.
Low toe kicks.
Especially if there's a wheelchair user.
Yes.
There's
Freezer.
knobs on the cabinets instead of handles.
Knobs instead of handles.
Freezers.
Refrigerator configuration. Very good.
Close quarters.
Close quarters.
Yes, very close.
And down in the picture in the bottom, you can see that we have an island or peninsula there, but not any, not any regular
Wheelchair.
height seating on there. Okay, now we're gonna look at some thriving kitchens here. Here's our thriving kitchen. This is actually an education kitchen located at the University, Virginia Tech. It's at Virginia Tech, and it's in a facility with a few other universally designed kitchens. So what do we see here that stands out?
You got a wheelchair under everything.
You can. So you have a sink over in the back there. It looks like that whole sink counter might move up and down, but if not, it at least has a panel that's sloped back so that you can get under it.
Doors on the oven
Double
Yeah,
doors.
we have French doors on the oven.
and the
And
fridge.
we can safely assume that there's probably a pull-out below that oven.
And is this an oven here?
That, I believe, is a microwave with
Microwave.
that bottom hinge
Oh,
that I was just talking about.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The pulls on the cabinets.
Yeah.
Yep, we got handles on the cabinets instead of knobs.
It's good lighting.
We can roll under our cooktop.
A lot of room.
Yep.
for
Yep,
work.
good circulation
Yeah.
all around.
Yeah.
I know not everyone has a kitchen this large to work with, but this is just an example.
What's that silver on the back, flush against the back wall on the right? Those two silver things?
The French door oven, wall
Oh,
oven.
thank you, okay.
Yep, yep. And we got lots of lighting options in here too, I want to say. We got accent lighting above the sink in the large photo. We have accent lighting next to the wall oven. We have task lighting above the cooktop with the beautiful chandelier, and then we have ambient lighting, just general lighting in the recess fixtures. Okay, on to bathrooms. Our next most important space in our home. So there's, just like with kitchens, with the bathrooms, you also need to consider ample space for maneuvering. Measures should also be taken in the bathroom to reduce slips, trips, and falls. Don't leave your bath mats and scatter rugs all over the floor, please. Floor drains are also a great help when it comes to water management in the bathroom, and every design solution for the bath should promote health, safety, and welfare for the user. Here's a shocking statistic. We love our statistics. The CDC reports that annually over 234,000 citizens ages 15 plus suffer some type of injury in the bathroom that requires a visit to the ER every year. So it's a dangerous place for everybody. So how are you going to get your dreamy bath? You can remodel an existing bath, whether you're staying within the four walls of that existing bath, or perhaps borrow a little bit of space from a neighboring room if you're working in tight quarters. You can convert a whole room, like give up a bedroom or a den or something like that from your home to make into a larger bath, and then maybe you'll have enough space to also incorporate a linen closet or a laundry unit as well. Or you can build on an addition, add to the existing footprint of your home. What I have pictured here is called a European wet room. And if you've never heard of it, it's a watertight washroom with drainage in the floor. There's no need for a shower enclosure in the wet room, and it's a great consideration for a small space because there's minimal barriers, and it'll make it easier for perhaps a caregiver or home health aide to assist you in bathing because it's barrier-free. So you should also remember to keep your dreamy bathroom on the same level as your master bedroom unless you love that stair climber. So some bathroom details. There's a lot we ask out of bathrooms. Typically we pack a lot into a relatively small space. They need to account for toileting. So you should consider installing a comfort height toilet. They sit a little higher than your normal model and they're easier to get on and off of generally. You need to account for bathing. Zero-step showers are beautiful, elegant, and safe, and they're desirable from a resale standpoint. They're very popular these days. Digital shower controls outside of the shower can ensure that you get the perfect temperature and avoid scalding yourself when stepping into the shower. Bathtubs are not preferable, but they can be used with the installation of the appropriate grab bars at appropriate locations. Walk-in tubs. Let's talk about walk-in tubs. Everybody's seen a walk-in tub, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, they're not preferable because if you think about it, you disrobe, you walk in, you sit down, you turn on the water, and you wait, and you wait. And then reverse for exiting the tub, you have to drain it completely before you can open the door to get out, and by then you're cold and chilly. You're chilly and wet. So oftentimes you also need a secondary on-demand water unit for filling a walk-in tub because the capacity of them are larger than your normal soaking tub. Okay. So bathrooms also need to account for grooming. So once upon a time, a bathroom vanity was often sat at a squat 30 inches off the floor. And today we're growing more accustomed to 36-inch countertops in the bath, which is more like what you see in your kitchen. A vanity of varying heights, like we see in this picture, we have a vanity that's one side's taller than the other. That's a really good solution if you have a home where maybe one person is really tall, the other person is not so tall, or even one person is able-bodied and able to stand at the sink, the other person might need a roll under. That way everybody gets the height that's comfortable for them. So just like with handles in the kitchen, you're going to want to think about doing handles or cup pulls on the vanities in the bathroom. You also want to think about lever handles on sinks and shower controls rather than knobs. And even better than a lever handle is a single handle faucet because then you don't have to worry about mixing that water perfectly. You just kind of know where you need to put it to get it where you typically have it. Or you typically have the temperature that you want. So, bathrooms also need to account for storage. We all have tons of toiletries, towels, electronic appliances. So that's where you want to think about using a vanity again instead of a pedestal. And then we have grab bars. Everybody thinks about grab bars when they think about an aging in place bathroom. They most often have a vision of ugly grab bars everywhere, and they're coming out with good-looking grab bars every day. And here's a picture of some good-looking grab bars right here on my slide. They're hitting the market all the time. And even people are starting to call them balance bars, as if you're in a dance studio. One last thing you might want to consider for the bathroom is a telephone, especially if you live alone. They're great for catching up with friends, but even greater for calling for assistance if needed. So we have another activity, just like we did with the kitchen. It's a make-do bath versus a thriving bath. Make-do on the left, thriving on the right. We'll start with the make-do. What can we see that's not preferable here?
Step-ups.
Stepping up to the tub, stepping up into the shower.
How do you access those windows?
How do you even shut those blinds?
Right.
Yes, how do you access the windows?
Well, that's hard for anybody, even if they're,
Hard for anybody.
yeah.
Yep,
Two handles for the faucet.
Yeah.
yep. So handles on the faucet, and they do look like they're knobs rather than
Very hard to say.
levers.
Step into the shower.
No room to roll under the sink.
Yep, no option for rolling under the sink. We have knobs on the vanity instead of handles, and it's a beautiful 1990s bathroom.
No balance bars.
No balance
No.
bars. No balance bars. How can you easily get into that tub?
Not an older person's bathroom, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Here's a bit of a thriving bathroom. I do have my qualms with this image, but I do my best with stock photos here. What do we see here?
What's on the right,
On the right,
on the hanging off the wall?
that's a bidet next to a
Oh,
toilet.
okay,
Some people like their bidets.
yeah.
You can roll under the sinks.
You can roll under these sinks.
You can roll into the shower.
You can roll right into the shower.
That's nice.
There's a rolly cart in there for extra storage. I'm hoping that the user doesn't use it as a seat, because with casters on it, that wouldn't be very stable.
Or something to grab onto.
There's no, yes. So this has its benefits and detractors, this one here.
I hope there's rubber under those throw rugs.
I hope they're either that, or I hope they're recessed into the tile. That's another thing that people do sometimes do.
Really?
Yep. We have one lever on each sink faucet, which is pretty good. And we have nice lighting here too. We have a few forms of lighting. So one thing that I also feel is not preferable in here, which even though we're supposed to be pointing out the qualities of this place, that mirror, if you're in a wheelchair, you're never gonna see your reflection. Never.
And there's no grab bars or anything in the
Right?
shower.
No balance bars.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for smart home tech? Home stretch, guys. So just like the rest of modern technology, this section is evolving all the time. I know there might be some tech-adverse people in the room, but I figure that generally speaking, baby boomers are way more tech-savvy than people give them credit for. So I'm just gonna do a quick overview of these products. I'm not affiliated with any of them. So this is what we call the Internet of Things, gizmos and gadgets that are connected to the internet via Wi-Fi and meant to make your life at home more convenient, and they usually pair with an app on your tablet or smartphone. First, we have Amazon Echo, the Echo family of products, which almost everyone in this country must have heard of by now. This is where Alexa lives. She lives inside these products. She's the personal assistant that sparks to life when she hears her name. she can do a lot, but on a basic level, she can play music for you, tell you the news, the weather. She can sync with your digital calendar. She'll read your Kindle to you, which I find very helpful with mine. You can also enable her to dial calls and transcribe text messages for you. And though she's not enabled to call 911, she can get you in touch with a caregiver should something happen, like you've fallen and can't get up. And that alleviates some of the stigma of wearing one of those fobs around your neck in your own house. So next is we have Ring. This is a video doorbell. It's a camera that you mount near your doorstep, and when someone rings the bell, you'll be able to see them on your phone through the app, and you'll be able to speak with them through the app and the doorbell. And you can do this wherever you are in the world, even if you're not home. Nest and Wemo helps you control your thermostat, fire, carbon monoxide alarms, and lighting, all through their respective apps. MedMinder, down here in the middle of the screen, is one of many types of pill box that will blink and beep when it's time to take your pills. And if that alert is ignored, the pill box will call the phone of the user, and if the pills are not taken after that phone call after a certain amount of time, the MedMinder alerts a caregiver by phone, text, and email. Okay. For robots, we have the Roomba, the Brava, and the Landroid, which vacuum, mop, and mow respectively. Everybody now wants a robot mower. Not everybody's heard of that Landroid yet. And we also have smart kitchen appliances like the Samsung Family Hub refrigerator, which replaces your family message center. It has a touchscreen built right into the door, and it will even order grocery delivery for you on a schedule, among other things. And then finally, down here in the bottom right-hand corner, for a more integrated approach, we have the Grand Care family of products. It comes with an intuitive touchscreen hub that's installed in the resident's home. Various Grand Care services can be added or removed to this hub as necessary. And caregivers have their own suite of apps that allow them to stay connected to the Grand Care hub from wherever they are. So some services on this residential touchscreen include social communication, video calling with caregivers or authorized personnel, instructions on how to use the system, reminders for medication or appointments, and also has some web-based entertainment like YouTube, and I think Facebook. It has Facebook capability. Other additions for the resident are activity monitoring, like you can have motion or contact sensors set up in the home, and caregivers can be prompted if the sensors haven't been tripped for a set amount of time. Like for instance, a contact sensor would be something you might put along a bedside, and if it hadn't been stepped on that day, then your caregiver will get a notification. Wellness monitoring can also be added to the system. This is things like blood pressure cuffs, glucose monitors, ear thermometers, oximeters, and scales. And those all they report directly to the Grand Care portal, which is where the caregivers can view activity reports. They can set up notifications and manage various user access levels through the Grand Care portal so that we can stay HIPAA compliant, and user levels are things like admin, caregiver, or just a communicator, which would be a grandkid or someone who doesn't really need to know all the nitty-gritty medical details. So on your handout, you'll see I've written all of these smart home gadgets out so that it'll make Googling them a little easy for you in the future. And that concludes my presentation. Before I move on to questions, I just want to point out that my partner Adam is here patiently waiting to help anyone who would like to book a free 30-minute call with me to talk one-on-one about your own situation. And any questions then? Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry I missed the very first
That's
few
okay.
minutes.
You didn't miss much.
Okay. So I think I get the picture that you would do large-scale design for a new house or a retrofit for an existing house.
Yeah.
Do you do small-ish things in a home? Like if someone just needed balance bars or a little bit of
Yes.
this and a little bit of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you do only the design, or do you actually have someone you work with who does actually the implementation too?
Both.
Okay,
Both.
great.
Yeah. I have, for really small projects, I have a few handymen that I call on, and then I also have renovators that I work with
Great.
for larger projects.
And do they usually come and do an assessment, not assessment, but come and give an estimate or something?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
The size of doors for wheelchair access.
32 inches of passable width free of the hinges at minimum. I would want them, personally, I'd want them to be wider than that. But that is the general guideline.
So that would be a 36-inch door.
I would prefer a 36.
Yes.
And what's standard, 30?
Yes. A lot of the doors you find in conventional building are 30 inches.
Exterior doors are usually bigger,
Yep.
but interior doors are 30, maybe 32 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the standard is for like a front door? Because that's
30.
wider,
Those are usually
36.
36?
Yeah.
Okay,
those are usually 36.
thank you.
Yeah.
So those are big doors inside.
Is that all our questions today?
Now, was that a picture of a microwave? I raised my hand, but you didn't see it. Was that a picture of a red microwave with a slide-out drawer underneath it?
I believe so, yes.
Back at the beginning, slide-out
Yeah.
shelf.
Shelf or table. Yeah, to like put the food on when you take it out.
That's a great idea.
We go back to kitchen
Right
details.
there. Right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
right
was
there.
that was the slide out. It's like it's like a shelf on drawer glides that slides under the microwave when not in use.
The only thing is, I'm gonna critique it, it has to be lower.
It's kind of hard to tell how
Because
high that's
if you
really
take a high
mounted.
pot out and set it on it, you can't close the door.
Not until you get a better grip to move the pot out
Yeah,
of the
not
way. You're
until you
right.
get the,
Yeah.
which really isn't a consideration, I guess.
Yep.
It's just a good place to put a hot pot and you take it out and you don't know it's that hot.
Yeah. Now the picture next to it with the swing door oven, it's hard to tell if that one has a pull out, but I sure hope it does.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like it does.
Kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
I like the oven, the wall oven with these doors.
Yeah,
Yep.
the French doors.
Mhm. That would alleviate your door problem with the slide out a little bit more than the microwave pictured here, I think.
Yeah.
Depending on how far your glides come out.
Well, yeah, if you're in a wheelchair, you need a place to, if you're using an oven, you definitely need a place to set a hot pot, I guess, right?
Yep.
To,
Yep. And that's like what I was saying with, it's always good to have a sink on the same run as your cooktop. Because if you're in a wheelchair, where are you putting that pot of boiling water when you're draining your pasta?
Yeah, either way, it's a tough when you're in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
I guess, taking something out of the oven. Because what are you gonna set it in your lap so you can move? It's just a tough,
Mm-hmm.
you don't see it, but hopefully the oven has a counter right to the right of it
Right.
that it could be set right on, which it probably does.
It probably
You
does.
just can't see it.
Yep.
And that's a microwave underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I love that island picture because you do have the row of regular height seating, but you still have the 36-inch high works
Oh,
court
yes.
area on it too.
Yes, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Double ovens over there.
Any other questions? Thank you all very much for coming.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
Thank you.